welcome to my channel. Today I'll be talking about a common fungal infection which is caused by a fungi called as dermatophyte, that is Taenia, commonly called as ringworm. So Taenia or ringworm thrive in warm, moist environment, and the main area of affection is skin, nail and scalp, and it can affect people of various ages, and it is very contagious. It is commonly seen in first one is athletic facilities where there is a good environment for the fungi to grow, such as gym, locker rooms and swimming pool where people sweat a lot and also share a common space. Second one is contact sports such as wrestling, football are at a higher risk to develop the infection, and also because they are at the higher risk to have skin abrasions. Third one is children who share a common place, that is in a school setting or participating in sports, and also they do not maintain adequate hygiene, and also they share the clothings and all those things, so hence they get easily infected with the tinea. Fourth one is pets. Pet have the fungal spores in their fur, and hence due to close contact with the pets it can transmit or transfer to human beings. Fifth one is tropical and humid areas. Mainly, as I've told earlier, that the fungi thrive mainly in warm, moist environment. Hence, the places which has or which is hot and which is moist, the fungal infection is more seen in such places. Sixth one is occupation. Mainly occupation where there is prolonged exposure to moisture or increased sweating, such as agricultural work or construction work. All these people are at a higher risk to develop the ringworm infection. Seventh one is immunocompromised patients, mainly people who are taking immunocompromised or immunosuppressive drugs, or people suffering with HIV, AIDS, or people who have undergone chemotherapy. All these have weakened immune system, and hence they are at a higher risk to develop any kind of infection for that matter. Also, they can develop the fungal infection easily. Next is the risk factor and cause. First one is warm and humid environment. As I told, it is very optimum environment or favorable environment for the fungus to grow. Second one is close contact with infected people. Mainly skin to skin contact can increase the risk of developing infection, and also in the places where people are crowded or people share a common place to stay, such as home, school or any sports settings, etc. Third one is sharing personal items such as towel, clothing, grooming items, shoe, socks. All these can transfer the infection from one person to another. Fourth one is poor hygienic practices such as not bathing regularly or not changing clothes, or not washing the clothings or wearing moist clothes can increase the risk. Fifth one is compromised immune system. So immunocompromised patients or who are having autoimmune diseases or who are under immunosuppressive treatments are at a higher risk to develop because the body is not able to fight back to the infection. Sixth one is wearing tight, non-breathable clothes. So wearing tight and non-breathable clothes increases heat and also increase the probability of sweating. Hence, it is developing a good environment for the growth of the fungus. Seventh one is occupational exposure. As I've already mentioned, the occupation which has the risk of developing more heat and more moisture or more sweating, such as severe physical work, that is construction, agriculture or working outside, anything which includes heat and moisture can increase the risk to develop the infection. Eighth one is living in crowded or institutional settings, like many people staying at one area. It makes the infection to spread more faster. Ninth one is poor foot hygiene, that is wearing moist socks or maybe not changing the socks, or not cleaning, especially in between the toes, and not drying them adequately, or walking barefoot in the areas where there is increased risk to get the infection. All these can lead to the development of tinea or ringworm infection. 10th one is previous history of tinea infections can predispose a person to have infection even in the future. 11th one is indirect contact with contaminated surfaces. So as I told, the skin to skin contact is usually the cause to develop the infection. Not only skin to skin contact, even the infected person, whatever he wears or whatever he touches, there is a chance of spore transfer to that object. It could be the clothing what he uses, or the brush, comb, the shoe, socks, hat, or any equipment can have the spores and hence transfer the infection to a healthy person. Coming to the types of tinea infection, there are several types. Let us see them one by one. First one is tinea cruris. Here the infection or the lesion occurs on the skin anywhere in the body except scalp, toes, groin and feet. Second one is tinea cruris, also called as jock itch, and here the lesion is seen mainly in the groin region. Third one is tinea pedis, also called as athlete's foot, and here the lesion is seen on the foot or even in the soles. Fourth one is tinea capitis, and here the lesion are found in the scalp region. Fifth one is tinea unguum. This is nothing but the infection of the fungus in the nail. Now let us see about the symptoms of the infection. So depending on the types of the lesion, the symptoms can vary. So first let us see the symptoms according to the types, and then I'll be discussing about the symptoms in general. So first one is in tinea corporis. The symptom is there is a red circular lesion, especially it could be circular or ring-like, and there is central clearance, and that's why it gives a ring-like appearance, and there is a raised border. There can be itching or discomfort, and even there could be scaling from the skin. Second one is tinea cruris. Here the lesion is seen in the groin region. It can also extend to thigh or upper abdomen and also to the buttocks. So here also there is a circular lesion, and it is a well-defined border. Even in tinea corporis it has a well-defined border, and there can be itching or discomfort, especially when there is increased sweating. There can be scaling, flakes, itching, burning. All these symptoms are seen, along with the typical redness of the lesion, and central clearing also is seen. Third one is tinea pedis. So here also there is severe itching, burning, especially on sweating, and also in between the toes there can be lesion, or even in the soles there can be lesion. The red circular lesion is seen. There can be flakes or scaling from the skin, and there could be foul odor which indicates the secondary bacterial infection. It can also lead to blister or ulcer in the foot. Fourth one is tinea capitis, and here the lesion is seen on the scalp. So there can be hair loss or thinning of hair or circular patch which is seen on the hair. Again there is itching, scaling, and it just resembles dandruff. Okay, and the main symptom here is the broken hair or the black dots on the scalp indicate fungal invasion on the hair follicles. Fifth one is tinea unguum. This is nothing but the infection on the nails. So here there is thickening of the nail, or the nail is distorted, the shape is distorted, irregular nails, and the nail can change its color to yellow, brown, or even white, and the nail gets separated from the nail bed. The nail breaks easily, and there can be pain or discomfort, especially when pressure is applied on the nail. So these are the symptoms according to the types of tinea. But if you have to see the symptoms in general, then it is red circular patches with a well-defined border and raised edges, and there is central clearing. There is also itching, burning, especially when the person sweats, and there can be scaling of skin, or the flakes come out on the lesion. And if there is any secondary bacterial infection, then it can lead to increased redness, warmth, swelling and pus formation. Coming to the management, first one is keep the affected area clean and dry. That is, wash thoroughly with soap and water, and then make sure that you dry the area thoroughly. And also avoid using tight, non-breathable clothes, and make sure that you change your socks and innerwears regularly. Second one is avoid potential source of reinfection. Wash the towel, bedding, clothing regularly with warm water, and also avoid sharing the clothings, or maybe comb, brush, hat, shoe, socks, all these things which can have spores and transfer the infection. And also clean and discomfort the communal surface regularly. Third one is maintain good foot hygiene. Make sure that you clean your foot, especially in between the toes, regularly, and dry them properly. And also do not use too tight fitting socks or shoes. Use breathable socks, and also change the socks regularly and avoid walking barefoot, especially in communal areas. And fourth one is avoid scratching in the affected area, mainly to prevent further irritation and also to avoid the spread of infection. It's always better to prevent infection instead of managing them after you get an infection. And for that, you need to know what are the preventive measures which you can take in order to prevent from developing tinea infection. First one is be cautious with pets. After handling or maybe after playing with pets, make sure that you wash your hand thoroughly with soap and water and dry them. And also, if you suspect any infection in the pet, that is, maybe you see any bald a spot or a circular patch or any scaling, then take to a veterinary doctor and make sure that your pet gets treated for the fungal infection. Second one is maintaining good hygiene. Bath regularly. Clean your body thoroughly, especially in the folds where there is chances of developing heat and moisture, and which is a good environment for the fungal growth. Wear clean dry clothes and also wash your hands regularly with soap and water, and make sure that you dry them thoroughly. Maintain foot hygiene. Clean the foot, especially in between the toes, and avoid ill-fitting clothes, also ill-fitting socks, and change your clothes regularly and wash your clothes in warm water. Third one is avoid sharing personal items such as clothing, bedsheet, towel, grooming items, comb, brush, socks, shoe, and make sure that you maintain them clean and dry. Fourth one is nail hygiene. Make sure you keep your nails clean and trim them regularly, and avoid biting the nails because it can lead to opening in the skin and hence easy entry of the fungus leading to infection. And fifth one and the most important is education. Know about the infection, know about how does the infection cause, what are the common symptoms of the infection and how to prevent them, and also what to do if you get an infection, that is how to manage it. So if you know it, then you can better prevent it and better manage it. So that's it for today's video. I hope this was helpful. If it was, do share it with your friends and family, and do remember to subscribe to my channel and start your journey on being healthy. If you have any doubts or any questions, leave it in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.